Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we have a 2022 Chevrolet Colorado, and we're going to be taking a look at, and I'm going to show you how to install the Blue Ox diode wiring kit. There's going to be 5 main components to flat towing your vehicle behind your RV. The first is going to be your base plate, which is going to attach to our vehicle. Next is going to be our tow bar, which is going to attach the RV to the vehicle so it can pull it safely down the road. Next is going to be your braking system, which is going to allow the vehicle to brake on its own as the RV is stopping itself. Next up is our diode wiring to send signals safely from the RV to the towed vehicle so that you can let others know what your intentions are on the road. And lastly are going to be your safety cables. Your safety cables are there in the case of an unlikely disconnect. Your vehicle won't travel down the road. It'll stay safely behind your RV so you can get pulled over and get the situation handled. What this kit's designed to do is it's designed to take the signals from your motorhome and transfer them to the lights on the back of your vehicle. Much like towing a trailer, you want others to know what your intentions are, so that's what it does. It takes the signals from the taillights. If you want to take a left turn, it'll signal the left rear taillight on your vehicle so that others know what your intentions are when you're driving down the road. If you have to have them on a trailer, you're going to have them when you're towing a truck behind your motorhome. The diodes in the kit are designed to protect the lights on your vehicle and on your motorhome. If you're to have an issue on your vehicle with the wiring, it's not going to fry the lights on your RV, and vice versa. Once you install this kit, you're never going to see any of the components that you've installed. You could practically sell the vehicle just like this and people wouldn't even know the system's in there. The other kits that we have, you're going to have to, typically with the magnetic kits, you're going to have to drape a wire from the back of your motorhome over your tow bar, up over top of your vehicle. And what we would like to see is to get those magnetic lights as far back as possible, which means on a truck, you're going to have to put them back here on the side of it, which is not ideal either. The other thing with that is that if you have a cord draped over top and you've got any little bit of dirt on top of your vehicle, that cord is going to cause tons and tons of micro scratches on top. Plus, you have to do that every single time you want to tow your vehicle behind your RV. And that, to me, that's really annoying. I like to just plug and go. And that's exactly what this system's going to do. You connect your 6-pole from your RV to the front of your Colorado, and that's all you need. You can turn your lights on and your Colorado is going to receive that signal. The convenience part of this kit is going to be the biggest seller for me. The fact that you can just take a 7-pole plug to a 6-pole plug on the front of your Colorado that you will have to install is the most important thing to me. I don't want to have to mess with draping any wires or having to store that magnetic light kit somewhere, hope I don't lose it, or if it burns out, what have you. If I know my vehicle lights are working properly, then I know I'm going to have lights to be able to transfer back. Now, as far as the installation goes, you will have to run a 4-pole wire from the front of your vehicle all the way to the back. That's not a huge deal. That's probably the easiest part of the installation. We'll show you how we did it and the route that we took. It's very clean. You follow factory wiring back, zip tie it off to it, and you won't ever see it again. As far as connecting it to other components is with the base plate, it'll depend on what kind of base plate you have. We have the eTrailer base plate, so it comes with a bracket that you'll mount the 6-pole into. And then the braking system, if you have a portable braking system, you're not going to have to worry about splicing into the wires at all. You'll run it from the 6-pole straight back to the back of your vehicle, and you won't have to wire anything else. If you do something like the Demco Stay and Play Duo that we have, you'll have to tie into them so that the Stay and Play Duo is also getting those lighting signals. With that being said, let's go ahead and pull it into the shop and show you how we did it. The first part of our diode wiring installation is going to be running our 4-pole wiring from the front of our vehicle up into the engine bay, making a loop and going to the back taillights. The way we routed our wiring is I tied it off right here because we're going to have to come out through our grill. Then we ran it down, ran it up here, up behind our taillight. I tied it off to that strut because we're going to need some extra when we wire everything together. Ran it down over top of our wheel well. Then came behind our wheel well liner here. And then you can see we followed factory wiring all the way back, going over each of our body mounts Followed the factory wiring, went up the frame, over the gas tank, and then came back, still following existing wiring, came back, and dropped it down right here. Then we're gonna have to come up to our taillights, drop down a fish wire, and then our wire will be right here to run up into our taillight. Now up in the bed of our truck, we'll take a T15 Torx bit, remove these 2 screws to pull our taillights out. There we go. Now we can take our lights out. We just have to unscrew them and pop them out. Now with our taillights pulled out, we can see our wiring. We've got our 4-pole wiring run up. We cut the white wire short because we really only need the first portion up underneath the hood. We tested out our wires. Our gray wire is going to be our stop and turn, which will be our yellow wire on our harness here. And then the orange wire is going to be our running light signal, which will be the brown wire. And then the brown wire and the green wire, we're gonna have to run a jumper, which will also come in your kit. That's a really nice feature. Otherwise, you're gonna have to find some extra wire. And when we ran this, we only had about a foot of extra wire. So that's really nice to include this. We'll run that over to the other side. We'll come back and show you how we did it. So you can see here, what we did was we cut our gray wire, put a spade connector on it, on each one of them, and then put a spade connector on our yellow, and you'll have 2 ins and 1 out. The out is gonna go to your factory taillight. And then the same thing on the driver's side signal. And then the brown, we pigtailed the included brown wire off of it because we're going to need to run it over to the passenger side to get our signal over there. And then the green wire, there's an included butt connector. We connected our green wire extension. Now we can run those back down through here, run them across, zip tie them off to existing wiring, and then run them up into the taillight. We ran our wiring following our existing wiring and our hitch receiver, zip tied it to the hitch, and then ran it up through this cavity and out. We made our same connection. The brown wire from our other taillight will go to the orange wire here. And then the green wire will go to our gray wire on the driver's side, or on the passenger side of the vehicle. We can get these all taped up and get our taillights resecured. Now that we have our taillights back in place, in order to complete the rest of the diode kit, we're gonna have to be connected into our braking system. And then as far as our 6-pole plug goes, we're gonna have to have the fascia back on before we can show you how to put the 6-pole in place and where to put our wires in it. Now, as far as the connections to the braking system, we're using a Stay and Play Duo kit from Roadmaster, and this kit has to tie into that. But if you're not using it, or if you're using a portable system of some sort, you won't have to make any connections here. These will run straight back to the diodes on your taillights, and you can wrap up this wiring and put on your 6-pole. With our fascia fitting properly over our base plate, we were able to run our wires down through here, and we're ready to connect our 6-pole. For getting our 6-pole wired up, we're gonna show you each location of where they go. They are labeled, but they're kind of hard to read. But on the bottom, this is the bottom of our plug. It opens up with the lid upward like this. So here's the bottom. The right one is going to be your green wire, which is your right turn. Your yellow wire will be next to it on the left, which is your left turn. The next one, when going around, is going to be your ground wire. The next one will be your running lights, which will be your brown wire. And then the center will be your power wire. This is our battery charge line that we always highly recommend installing when you're installing this stuff, so that you keep your batteries charged on your vehicle when you're headed down the road. So we'll just slide that in and then tighten these screws down. Make sure to not tighten these too much, because you can shred the wire. You just want to make sure it's tight enough to where it doesn't come out. Now we can attach our ground. Take this nut off here. We added a ring terminal to our white wire. And we're going to come back later and tidy up all these wires with some wire loom. But for now, for testing purposes, we'll just put this back on. Now we can use our test box to test out our wiring. We're going to go through our simple functions of our taillights, our left turn, right turn, and our brake lights. Now that we know our diode wiring is working properly, we can button everything up. We are going to throw some silicone inside our 6-pole plug to protect all of our connections from being corroded, and then we'll slide our boot over, tuck our wires back, and put a little bit of wire loom on it. Well guys, hopefully this information helped you decide whether or not the Blue Ox diode wiring kit is right for you in your 2022 Chevrolet Colorado.